Ever found yourself staring at your credit report or your credit score, feeling like something's just not adding up, like the math ain't mathin'? Well, you're not alone. Your credit report, it's your financial fingerprint, and reporting errors happen more often than you think. Statistics show that 1 out of every 5 credit reports contain some form of a credit reporting error. So in today's video, I'm going to share some of these sneaky errors that could be hiding out on your credit report and could be costing you both money and peace of mind. Whether it's a mistaken identity issue, inaccurate account details, or outdated information, don't let these errors drag your credit score down. So make sure to subscribe to my channel so that you can stay informed. And then go see the link in my bio or description of this video and download my free 23-page step-by-step DIY guide with some letters. I just want you to learn how to take control of your credit report and safeguard your financial future. So grab a pen and paper because we're going to go through these. Incorrect personal information. So when your credit report has incorrect personal information on it, like misspelled names or variations of your name, wrong addresses, old addresses, or inaccurate social security number, it can lead to misunderstandings about who you are, and that can lead to potential credit issues. So to address this, contact the credit bureau to dispute these errors. I actually went online with Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and I had a bunch of old addresses deleted. I made sure that they weren't tied to any open or closed accounts that had positive reporting payment history attached to them. Variations of my name I had corrected so that it's just my first name and my last name reporting on all 3 credit bureaus. And they actually did this within a few days of me doing the online dispute. Now, this is the only dispute that I'm going to recommend you do online, and do so directly with the credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, not Credit Karma, not any of these other secondary apps. Now, you can also send a letter, but basically you're just wanting to ensure that your personal details are updated accurately to prevent any future discrepancies. You want to make sure you're not a victim of a mixed merged file, or worse yet, identity theft. Duplicate accounts. Having duplicate accounts on your credit report, now that can really mess up your credit utilization ratio and overall credit score. It's essential to identify any of these duplicate accounts because you don't want to have creditors be misled. You want to contact the creditors and the credit bureaus to rectify these errors immediately. So you're basically going to state what the problem is. You can say something like, hey, this account name and number is incorrectly reporting twice on my report, once with no balance owed and the second time with a balance reporting, and then list the balance. You can let them know that you don't owe money to the creditor that's reporting this twice, and request that the account be immediately corrected on your credit report to reflect a zero balance. Now, I'm going to list more reporting errors for you to be on the lookout for. When you create your letters, you're simply stating what the issue is in detail and what you need to happen. Now, if you need letters, see the link in my bio or description of this video. I've got a kit. I call it my ultimate DIY kit. I have over 200 letters, okay, closer to 300, and step-by-step dispute guides for you. I also have a private support group that goes with this kit, and we meet every other week via Zoom, where I'm teaching this via group coaching. Okay, incorrect credit limits and balances. First, incorrectly reporting the credit limit on an account, that can have a detrimental effect on your credit score. Your credit score is influenced by various factors, and that credit utilization ratio, which compares the amount of credit you're using to your total available credit, that's a critical element. So if the reported credit limit is lower than the actual limit, it can make it appear as though you're utilizing a higher percentage of your available credit. Now, this misrepresentation can result in an inflated credit utilization ratio, and that can lead to a lower credit score. A lower credit score, influenced by inaccurate credit limit reporting, can impact your ability to secure new credit or loans, and that can result in less favorable terms when you do qualify. Then we have balances. So incorrectly reporting the balance on an account also has a significant impact on your credit score. This can tie into your credit utilization ratio as well, the amount of credit you're using compared to your total available credit. Now, if the reported balance is higher than what you actually owe, it can artificially inflate this ratio. And a higher credit utilization ratio is generally considered less favorable, and that can result in a lower credit score as well. This in turn may also affect your ability to qualify for new credit or loans, and once again can lead to less favorable terms when you do. Incorrect date of first delinquency, and they call this DOFD. This on your accounts can cause trouble for your credit score. This date is crucial because it determines how long negative information like late payments or charge-offs stay on your credit report. If the date of first delinquency is reported wrong, it can make negative marks stick around for longer than they should. And this can also give the impression that you've had some recent financial hiccups, even if that's not the case. As a result, your credit score can take a hit, making it harder to qualify for credit or loans. And once again, potentially leading to less favorable terms if you do. When the date of last payment, and that's DOLP, is reported inaccurately on an account, it also can have significant implications for your credit score. So the date of last payment reflects the most recent date you made a payment on an account. And it plays a pretty crucial role in determining your payment history. So if this date is reported incorrectly, it can misrepresent your recent payment behavior to creditors and to credit scoring models. Timely payments are a key factor in maintaining a positive credit history and score. So if the date of last payment is incorrectly reported as later than the actual payment date, it can create the impression of delayed payments and financial difficulties. And as payment history is a major component of your credit score, an incorrect date of last payment can also lead to a lower credit score and once again impact your ability to qualify for things. Account type. Having the wrong account type reported on your credit report can impact your credit score and overall financial standing. The account type indicates the nature of the account, like a credit card, a loan, or mortgage, and it plays a crucial role in determining your creditworthiness. So for example, if a credit card account is incorrectly categorized as a loan, this could distort your credit utilization ratio and affect how lenders evaluate your overall debt burden. Also, if a closed account is mistakenly listed as open, it can lead to inaccurate calculations of your available credit and impact your credit utilization ratio. Charged off and reporting a balance. So when a debt is charged off, it means the creditor has given up on collecting payment directly from you and has typically written off the debt as a loss in their books. At this point, they can choose to sell the debt to a collection agency for a fraction of its original value. However, once that debt has been sold to a collection agency, it should no longer be reporting as an outstanding balance by the original creditor on your credit report. That's because the debt is no longer owed to the original creditor. It's now owned by the collection agency. So reporting a balance on a charged off debt that has been sold to a collection agency is misleading and inaccurate. It's also a violation of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA, and it implies that you still owe money to the original creditor when in fact you're now responsible for dealing with the collection agency. This can create confusion for you and potential lenders that are reviewing your credit report. So instead, the charged off debt should be updated to reflect a zero balance with a note indicating that it's been sold to a collection agency. So if you notice a charged off account reporting a balance after it has been sold to a collection agency, you've got to dispute this inaccuracy with the credit reporting agencies. Here's another illegal tactic, another violation: re-aging of accounts. So re-aging of accounts refers to the practice of changing the date of the last delinquency on a credit account to a more recent date. This process, it's done more often than you think by lenders, or more specifically debt collectors, and it's generally considered illegal because it's extending the period for which negative information like late payments or charge-offs can remain on your credit report. This illegal activity of re-aging accounts, it stems from the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which dictates that accurate and timely information is what needs to be reported on credit reports. So re-aging it's a deceptive tactic that it prolongs the negative impact of a delinquency, making it appear as if the account is more recent than it actually is. And this can have serious consequences for you as it negatively affects your credit score and misrepresents your credit history. So for example, let's say you had a late payment on a credit card from 3 years ago and it was accurately reported on your credit report. So if a lender or debt collector re-ages the account and changes that date to make it look like you missed a payment just a few months ago, it not only violates the FCRA, but it also unfairly damages your credit score by extending the period of negative information. This can lead to higher interest rates on new credit applications or difficulty securing loans, impacting your financial opportunities. So this is why it's crucial for you to be aware of your rights under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And if you see things like this, promptly dispute them. Collection agencies charging interest. Charging interest without a contractual agreement is generally also considered illegal and violates the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Collection agencies are typically assigned to collect on debts that consumers owe to original creditors. Now, the terms of the original agreement between the consumer and the original creditor are going to determine whether interest can be charged on the debt. So if there's no explicit provisions in the original credit agreement allowing for the collection of interest after the account has been charged off or assigned to a collection agency, that collection agency may not legally impose interest rates or charges. Charging interest without a clear contractual basis is considered an unfair and deceptive practice under consumer protection laws. So with the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the FDCPA, now this is a federal law in the United States that regulates the behavior of these third-party debt collectors. It prohibits the deceptive, unfair, and abusive practices, including charging unauthorized interest. So if a collection agency attempts to charge interest without a valid contractual basis, consumers have the right to dispute the debt and file a complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, known as the CFPB, or the state's Attorney General office. It's so important for you to be aware of your rights under consumer protection laws and to scrutinize attempts by collection agencies to impose fees or charges that are not explicitly outlined in your original credit agreement. If in doubt, seek legal advice or consult with a consumer protection attorney. They oftentimes provide guidance, free consultations on how to address these situations. Accounts not being marked in dispute. So under the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, consumers have the right to dispute inaccurate or incomplete information on their credit reports with the credit bureaus. So when a consumer disputes an item on their credit report, the FCRA requires that the credit bureaus, as well as the entities that provided the information, like the lenders or collection agencies, mark the disputed account as being in dispute during this investigation process. So if accounts that are legitimately under dispute are not properly marked, it is considered a violation of the FCRA. Failing to notate an account as being in dispute can result in various negative consequences for you. Without that in dispute notation, the creditors, lenders, and other entities that are reviewing your credit report might make decisions based on inaccurate or incomplete information that can potentially impact your ability to secure credit or loans on fair terms. So that in dispute notation serves as a flag, signaling to anyone reviewing your credit report that, hey, there's an ongoing disagreement or uncertainty about the accuracy of specific information. It is an essential part of the dispute resolution process, and it helps to ensure that credit reports reflect the most accurate and up-to-date information. Payment errors. Now, payment errors on your credit report can also damage your credit score. Late payments or even missing payments can significantly lower your score. So to correct payment errors, start by contacting the creditor to rectify the situation. Make sure to provide relevant documentation, such as proof of payment, to support your case. Regularly checking your credit report can help you catch these errors early and prevent the long-term damage that these can cause to your credit score. Unauthorized inquiries. Unauthorized credit inquiries can occur when someone makes inquiries about your credit report without your consent. These inquiries can signal potential fraud or identity theft. To dispute unauthorized inquiries, contact the credit bureau and request that they investigate the matter. You may need to provide proof that you did not authorize the inquiry, like documentation showing that you were not seeking new credit at the time of the inquiry. It's so important to monitor your credit report. I mean, it's like putting on a pair of financial glasses. It's going to help you see things more clearly and detect any of these errors and inaccuracies pretty quickly. Set aside some time to review your credit report at least once a year. I'm going to say once a quarter, maybe every 6 months, from each of these three major credit bureaus. By doing so, you'll be able to catch errors early, you'll be able to track financial progress, and identify any suspicious activity. Staying informed, staying vigilant, and taking appropriate actions to address these things is key. You have to remember, knowledge is power when it comes to protecting your financial well-being.